Casper heard a strange sound coming from a garbage bag he had just thrown into the truck. But before he could check it out, the truck driver had already driven away to the next stop. Casper feared that the bag and whatever was inside making the noise would be crushed. He chased down the truck and retrieved the bag, but when he looked inside, he turned pale and immediately decided to contact the police. Before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our upcoming stories. Realizing his phone was dead, Casper rushed to the police station with the bag. After explaining the situation, an officer named Andrews took the bag for further examination and went with Casper to the location where he had found it. Upon returning to the house where the bag had been found, Officer Andrews knocked but got no answer. He decided to return later. That evening, Andrews knocked again and was met by a frightened little girl. Her mother eventually appeared, initially defensive but quickly becoming cooperative when she learned about the bag's contents. Disturbed by the revelation, she allowed the officer inside. Forensic experts examined the bag for clues while Officer Andrews conducted door-to-door interviews in the neighborhood. A few neighbors mentioned seeing unusual activity, such as a loiterer late at night and a suspiciously parked car, providing small but potentially significant leads. Casper recalled hearing faint meows from the bag, which drove him to act. At the veterinary clinic, the kittens inside were found in critical condition but responded to treatment. Casper was relieved and formed an emotional bond with the kittens, vowing to ensure they found loving homes. Meanwhile, Officer Andrews reviewed surveillance footage and noticed someone frequently visiting a nearby pet store, raising suspicion. Although the case was still in progress, the evidence and compassion shown by those involved provided hope for justice. The police began tracking a suspect identified from surveillance footage near a pet store. They analyzed the suspect's movements and cross-referenced them with other evidence. Though the suspect denied involvement, the interrogation yielded no conclusive proof, forcing the police to release them. Frustrated with the stalled investigation, Casper decided to conduct his own inquiries. As Casper spoke with more people, he started gathering small yet potentially significant clues, like a strange car, a distant argument, or a neighbor's sudden routine change. Although these details seemed trivial individually, Casper sensed their importance and meticulously noted each one. His informal investigation deepened his connection with the community. People began to trust him with their stories and observations, providing more clues and strengthening the bond between Casper and his community. With each new piece of information, Casper began to form a clearer picture of what might have happened. He spent evenings piecing together the clues, trying to make sense of the disparate fragments. The story started to take shape, leading him closer to understanding the mystery. A breakthrough occurred when a neighbor informed Casper of someone suspicious near his truck on the morning of the incident. This new specific testimony provided a crucial lead, describing an unfamiliar individual in the area. Casper realized this detail was a significant piece of the puzzle. Energized, he shared this with Officer Andrews, who integrated it into the investigation. The evidence linked the suspect to the crime scene, shifting the police's focus to this lead. Andrews prepared his team, knowing that the success of this confrontation was crucial to solving the case and bringing justice to the forefront. In a tense meeting, Officer Andrews presented the suspect with the new evidence. The photographs, testimonies, and Casper's observations were laid out clearly. The suspect, initially defiant, began to show signs of unease. Andrews watched closely, his experience telling him that the suspect was on the verge of a revelation. The air in the room was heavy with anticipation. Confronted with the mounting evidence, the suspect's composure finally cracked. Tears welled up in their eyes as they buried their face in their hands. "I didn't know what to do," they sobbed, their voice breaking. The room fell silent, the tension giving way to a palpable sense of despair. Through tears, the suspect began to explain. Overwhelmed by stress and personal issues, they found themselves unable to care for the kittens. "I thought someone would find them and take care of them," the suspect stammered, clearly ashamed. Their story painted a picture of desperation and poor judgment rather than malice. The team listened intently, understanding the complexity of the situation. Officer Andrews, moved by the suspect's remorseful confession, chose a compassionate approach. He expressed understanding of the suspect's stress and emphasized that better choices were always available. The suspect, visibly relieved by this response, agreed to counseling and community service as part of making amends. This approach focused on resolution and growth rather than punishment, offering a path toward healing for both the suspect and the community. Casper's home became filled with joy and warmth after adopting a kitten he named Lucky. A symbol of their shared journey from tragedy to a fresh start, their growing bond represented hope and renewal, and Lucky became more than just a pet. He was a reminder of the power of kindness. The suspect, now on a path to redemption, engaged in community service at animal shelters, learning from their mistakes. Reflecting on these events, Casper recognized the profound impact of compassion and the importance of community in overcoming challenges. The story of Lucky and his siblings became a narrative of hope, kindness, and new beginnings.